The warning beacon screamed through space before anyone saw Earth. It was not sound. It was light, repeating in broken pulses across all known frequencies. Every alien ship that crossed the solar boundary received the same message, burned into their systems like a scar. Do not approach Earth. This region is sealed. Captain Vera stood on the bridge of the Carthy's Vanguard, staring at it. The message had no sender signature. No origin point. Just repetition as if space itself was speaking. Behind her, the crew was already uneasy. That language cluster, it matches extinct civilizations, one analyst said. His voice cracked slightly. But all of them, they died thousands of cycles ago. Vera did not answer at first. Her eyes stayed on the red glow of the beacon ahead. A warning that large meant only two things in known space, either a trap, or something so dangerous it didn't need one. Then a second signal appeared. Come, claim, human. A voice cut through their comms without permission. You are within restricted space. Identify or leave. The bridge went silent. One officer laughed nervously. Human? That region was marked dead. No colonies, no signals. Nothing. Another leaned forward. It could be automated defense code. Old relay system. Vera raised her hand. Replay the signal. The voice came again, identical, steady. You are within restricted space. Identify or leave. There was no emotion in it. No fear. No aggression. Just control. That was what disturbed her most. She made a decision quickly. Launch probe. A small scout vessel detached from the fleet. It drifted forward, slow and careful, crossing the invisible line between deep space and the solar boundary. At first, nothing happened. Mars appeared in the distance, red and silent. The probe sensors ran full sweep. No ships. No weapons. No orbital debris large enough to suggest a war zone. See, the analyst said, relief in his voice. Empty system. The warning is. The probe vanished. No explosion. No signal. No trace. Just gone. The bridge froze. Then the system log updated itself. A single frame of corrupted data appeared on the main screen. It lasted less than a second, but everyone saw it. The structure. Orbiting Earth. Not natural. Not alien design either. Something else. Something that looked built but not by any known engineering logic. It seemed grown. Reconstruct that image. Vera ordered. We can't, the technician replied, panicking. The data never existed. It's like the probe never sent it. But Vera had seen it. And so had the crew. Before anyone could speak again, the human voice returned. This time closer. You have entered restricted space. The calmness was gone. Not replaced by anger, but by certainty. A countdown appeared on their screens. 10 o'clock. No explanation. No system source. Just time. What is that? Someone whispered. No known protocol can inject a timer into our systems, the analyst said. This is impossible. Vera's jaw tightened. Scan for intrusion source. All scans negative. The countdown changed. 9:58. Attention crawled through the bridge. Even the air felt heavier, like the ship itself had started listening. Then another transmission broke through, but not from Earth. It came from the probe's last recorded coordinates. A distorted fragment of sound. Not words at first. Just broken static. Then clarity for half a second. A human voice. Mel. Calm but strained. Don't stay. The message cut. Everyone turned toward Vera. They are still alive? The analyst asked, confused. Before she could answer, a second fragment arrived. Same voice. It's not empty. Cut again. The bridge erupted in overlapping reports. Systems showed no ship near the probe's path. No signal source. No transmission route. But the message was real. And it was human. Vera stepped forward. Increase resolution. Focus Earth orbit. The fleet sensors pushed deeper, piercing interference layers, filtering cosmic noise. Slowly, something formed on the main display. At first, just darkness around Earth. Then shapes. Massive orbital structures, almost invisible until the system adjusted. Not satellites. Not stations in any known design. They were arranged in a perfect ring around the planet like a cage. Those weren't there before, someone said quietly. They were, the analyst replied, voice hollow. We just couldn't see them. The countdown hit 8:30. Then Earth responded again. But this time it was not a voice. It was a presence. Every ship in the fleet felt it at once. Instruments flickered. Gravity stabilizers adjusted without command. Even the lights dimmed slightly as if reacting to something unseen. Then a final message appeared, larger than before, overriding all channels. Leave. This is your only warning. Vera stared at it. Her crew waited. For the first time since the mission began, doubt entered her mind, not fear of Earth, but fear of what kind of intelligence could build silence into a weapon. Still, protocol demanded confirmation. Prepare second probe launch, she said. No one moved immediately. Captain, the analyst began. She turned sharply. Now. The second probe detached. It moved forward. The countdown continued. 7:12. The probe crossed Mars' orbit, and the entire bridge held its breath. Behind Earth, something shifted in the darkness. Something that had not been visible before was now turning toward them. The second probe moved forward slowly, cutting through silent space like it was entering a dead graveyard. On the bridge of the Carthy's vanguard, no one spoke. Even the smallest sound felt dangerous now. The countdown on every screen kept shrinking. 6:58. Captain Vera stood perfectly still, eyes locked on the main display. She was waiting for proof, any proof, that this was only an automated defense system, something old and harmless. The probe crossed Mars' orbit. At first, everything looked normal. Dust, rocks, cold silence. Then the probe camera flickered. A technician leaned forward. Signal interference increasing, but no source detected. The image sharpened for a moment, and then it happened again. The probe vanished. Not destroyed. Not jammed. Just gone from all systems as if space had simply removed it. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Someone whispered, "That's two probes, gone without impact." Another officer shook his head. "This isn't defense. This is erasure." Vera didn't respond. Her mind was already working faster than her fear. Then the third signal arrived. Not from Earth this time. From the exact location where the probe disappeared. A human voice returned, but weaker, strained, like it was coming through layers of broken reality. "You are not supposed to be here." Static tore through the message. Then another fragment broke through. "They are watching now." The transmission ended abruptly. The analyst turned pale. "That matches the first probe fragment. Same voice pattern. It's human." "Confirmed." "But that's impossible," another officer said. "No human civilization exists in this sector. It's been classified dead for centuries." Vera finally spoke. Her voice was low. "Something is alive there." The countdown changed again. 5:44. A new alert flashed on all consoles. Unknown system access detected. "Where from?" Vera snapped. The technician's hands moved rapidly. "Not from Earth, not from outside, it's coming from inside our network." A few seconds passed. Then every screen on the bridge shifted. For half a second they were no longer seeing space. They were seeing Earth. But not the surface. The orbit. A ring of structures had fully activated now. Massive, silent forms circling the planet in perfect alignment. They were not metal like ships. They looked layered. Like something built from both technology and something alive. One officer stepped back. "Those weren't there in the scan earlier. They were hidden," the analyst whispered. "Cloaked. Or outside perception." The system flickered again. Then the human voice returned, clearer this time. "You are inside restricted kill radius." The words were calm but final. Vera clenched her fists. "We are not inside anything. We are in open space." The analyst shook his head slowly. "Captain, look at the gravitational readings." He hesitated before continuing. "They are not changing space around us. They are defining what space is." A chill ran through the bridge. The countdown hit 4:10. Then the first real loss happened. A small escort ship on the fleet's left flank suddenly went dark. No warning. No signal. No explosion. Just silence. Then another. And another. Panic started to spread through comm channels. "Contact lost. Ship 6 is gone. No debris field." Vera raised her voice sharply. "Hold formation." But the fleet was no longer stable. Ships were disappearing in perfect intervals, like something was counting them. One by one. The analyst's voice cracked. "It's not random. It's synchronized with the countdown." Vera turned sharply. "Explain." He hesitated. "Every time the timer drops, a ship is removed from reality." Pause. Then he added, quieter, "Not destroyed. Removed." The bridge fell into uneasy silence again. Then a new transmission broke through all channels at once. Not human this time. A system voice. Neutral. Controlled. Warning, entry conditions failed. Entity presence detected. Lock initiated. The fleet's engines suddenly went offline. Every ship. At once. Vera grabbed the console. Restore propulsion. Not responding, the technician said, voice shaking. It's not a failure, it's a command override. The countdown stopped for the first time. 3 o'clock. Then reversed. 02:59. 02:58. 02:57. Vera stared at it. Why is it reversing? The analyst looked at her slowly. Because, we're not being timed anymore. Pause. We're being processed. Suddenly the main screen changed again. The Earth structure that had been hidden earlier was now fully visible. Not one ring. Multiple layers. Each moving independently. Each aligned with something deeper than orbit. And then the human voice returned again, closer than before. You ignored the rule. This time it wasn't coming through comms. It was inside the ship. Every speaker. Every console. Every emergency channel. One officer stepped back in fear. It's everywhere. Vera's expression hardened. Fear was there but controlled. Focused. Show me origin point, she ordered. The system hesitated. Then responded. And what appeared on screen made the entire bridge freeze. The signal was not coming from Earth. It was coming from below it. From something beneath the planet's surface. Something massive. Something that had been awake the entire time. The analyst whispered, barely audible. Captain. Earth is not the warning. Pause. It's the seal. The countdown hit 2 o'clock. And deep inside the fleet systems, a final message unlocked itself. First containment layer breached. The moment the message appeared, the Carthy's vanguard went silent in a way no one had ever experienced before. Not quiet. Silent. Even the hum of the engines was gone. The air system still worked, but it felt like the ship had stopped existing as a machine and started existing as something being watched. On every screen the same line burned in cold text. First containment layer breached. Captain Vera stood frozen for only a second. Then her instincts took over. Status report, she ordered. Her voice broke the stillness like a blade. The technician's hands trembled over the console. All propulsion locked. Weapons inactive. Communication grids are not responding. It's like the ship is inside a sealed zone. Inside, another officer repeated. We are outside Earth's orbit. The analyst shook his head slowly, eyes fixed on the data streams. No, we are inside something larger. The system didn't move us. It defined us. Before anyone could respond, the ship shook slightly. Not from impact. From alignment. Like something vast had adjusted around them. The main display flickered again. Earth filled the screen. But now it was different. The planet was no longer just a sphere in space. It looked like a core surrounded by layered geometry, rings, grids, and invisible structures that only became visible when the fleet's sensors tried to understand them. And beneath it all, something deeper. Something that didn't match physics as they knew it. A slow voice came through the ship again. Human. But no longer calm. Now, tired. You crossed the threshold. Vera stepped forward. Identify yourself. A pause followed. Long enough to feel like an answer was being chosen carefully. Then the voice responded. We are what remains after everyone ignored the rule. The analyst swallowed hard. Captain. I'm getting historical fragments. Massive data suppression layers are unlocking automatically. Show me, Vera said. The display shifted. Records appeared. Not from one civilization. From many. Dozens of extinct empires, each one with the same final recorded anomaly. Contact with Sol, 3 system. Then total silence. Vera's eyes narrowed. So Earth has been attacked before. The analyst hesitated. No, not attacked. Approached. A new image formed on the screen. Fleet after fleet entering solar space across different eras. Different technologies. Different species. All of them crossing the same invisible boundary. All of them disappearing afterward. No battles. No debris fields. Just absence. One officer whispered, where did they go? The analyst answered quietly, they were removed from continuity. The ship shuddered again. This time stronger. The countdown reappeared, but it was no longer counting down. It was counting up. 00:01. 00:02. 00:03. Reversing logic itself. Vera felt something cold settle in her chest. They're rewriting the system rules. Suddenly, a new structure emerged on the edge of the display. something that had never been visible before. A vast shape beneath Earth's atmosphere. Not a building. Not a machine. A network of interlocked systems spanning deeper than the planet's crust, extending into space like roots reaching through reality itself. The analyst's voice broke. That's not planetary defense, that's containment architecture. The human voice returned again, sharper now. You are inside the first evaluation layer. Vera turned sharply. Evaluation for what? No answer came immediately. Instead, the fleet experienced something worse than silence. Perception distortion. Multiple ships reported seeing Earth from different positions at once. Some saw it close. Some saw it far. Some saw it multiplied. Reality was bending around observation. Then one ship exploded, not physically but visually erased from all sensor feeds. The crew gasped. Another one gone, someone said. But Vera raised her hand. No. It didn't explode. She looked at the analyst. It was rejected. He nodded slowly, fear in his eyes. Like a failed entry attempt. The system voice returned again. Intrusion detected, non-compliant intent. The entire fleet trembled. Vera stepped forward, voice steady despite everything collapsing around her. We did not come to invade. A pause followed. Then the system responded. Intent does not change outcome. The analyst looked up suddenly. Captain. I understand now. Vera turned. Explain. His voice was shaking but clear. This isn't a defense system. It's a filter. A filter for what? She demanded. He looked at Earth on the screen. For everything that thinks too far ahead. A sudden shift occurred. All remaining ships in the fleet were pulled into perfect alignment around Earth, forming a pattern they did not choose. Like pieces placed on a board. Vera realized something then. They were no longer exploring Earth. They were being positioned for judgment. The human voice returned one last time, closer than ever. You ignored the rule. This time the bridge lights dimmed completely. And for the first time Earth itself began to move, not physically but conceptually, like something inside it had finally decided to open its eyes. The moment Earth opened its eyes, every system aboard the Carthy's Vanguard failed in sequence. Lights flickered once, then died. Not darkness in the usual sense, but absence of control. The ship still existed, but it no longer obeyed anything inside it. Captain Vera stood in the half-lit bridge, her face tense but steady. Around her, officers tried to restore systems, but their commands were ignored like they were speaking to empty space. The analyst whispered, "We're not in command anymore, we're being observed directly." Before Vera could respond, the ship tilted slightly. Not from engine failure. From spatial adjustment. Earth was no longer just a target on the display. It was everywhere in the crew's perception. Even those not looking at screens felt it, like something vast had shifted its attention onto them. Then the system voice returned. No longer human. No longer machine. Something in between. Final evaluation initiated. A new layer of reality unfolded. Outside the viewport, space itself changed texture. The stars did not move, but their meaning did. The fleet was no longer arranged randomly, it was positioned in a precise geometric pattern around Earth. Like a net being tightened. One officer stumbled back. We didn't move, we were placed. Vera's eyes narrowed. This is containment behavior. The analyst nodded quickly. Not containment, classification. A sudden alert flashed. Ship functionality reduced to observation mode only. Weapons disabled. Engines locked. Even escape pods refused activation. Vera clenched her jaw. They are forcing us to watch. Then Earth responded. Not through voice. Through structure. The planetary surface shimmered faintly, and something beneath it activated. Massive unseen layers began to rotate, like a system waking after a long sleep. The analyst's voice dropped. Captain. I'm detecting a full-scale reality lattice. Explain, she ordered. He swallowed. It's not defending Earth. It's defining what counts as a threat. The fleet suddenly experienced pressure, not physical but psychological. Every crew member felt it differently. Some saw visions of past civilizations. Others heard fragments of unknown languages. Some simply froze, unable to move. Vera remained standing, forcing herself to stay anchored. Then the first strike happened. A ship on the far edge of the formation simply stopped existing in all readings. No explosion. No energy burst. Just removal. Another followed. Then another. Each disappearance perfectly timed with the system's internal cycle. The analyst spoke quickly, panic rising. It's reducing us one by one, not randomly. It's evaluating response patterns. Vera turned sharply. Based on what? Before he could answer, the system responded for them. Intelligence level, high. Cooperation level, low. Threat potential, increasing. The bridge went silent. Then Vera did something unexpected. She stepped forward toward the main console and activated a manual broadcast override. Stop evaluation, she said firmly. Her voice echoed across all channels. For a moment nothing happened. Then the system responded. Query received. Pause. Define authority. The crew looked at her. Vera hesitated for only a fraction of a second. Then she spoke clearly. We are not invaders. We are explorers. We did not fire. We did not attack. We only observed. Another pause. The fleet waited. Earth responded. Observation is precedent. The analyst shook his head slowly. That's not an answer, that's a rule. Suddenly the ship shook violently, not from impact but from alignment correction again. The fleet was tightening. Closer. More precise. Like something preparing final containment. Then the human voice returned one last time, clearer, deeper, almost mournful. You all say the same things. Vera's voice softened slightly. Then listen differently. Silence followed. The system paused longer than before. Even the analyst noticed it. It's processing differently, he said quietly. For the first time something changed. A single ship in the fleet was not erased. It was released. Drifting backward, pushed gently out of the formation. Then another followed. And another. Vera watched closely. It's letting some go. The analyst nodded. They're being sorted. A realization struck her. This isn't execution, she said slowly. It's separation. The system responded immediately. Correct. The fleet trembled again as more ships were removed from the formation, but not destroyed. They were being repositioned into safe trajectories away from Earth. Some were erased. Some were freed. The logic was invisible but absolute. Then Vera understood the truth. This isn't punishment, she whispered. It's protection. The analyst looked at her sharply. Protection from what? Before she could answer, Earth revealed the final layer of the system. Deep beneath the planet, something massive shifted again. And this time the system spoke one final line. Threat source not external. Pause. Threat source, future outcomes. The entire bridge went still. Vera's eyes widened slightly. Wait. But before she could finish, reality around the fleet fractured once more. And the next phase of judgment began. Everything stopped the moment the phrase appeared. Threat source, future outcomes. The Carthy's vanguard did not shake. It did not fail. It simply entered a state where time felt like it had lost permission to move normally. Captain Vera stood on the bridge, frozen between command and disbelief. Around her, officers remained motionless, their systems locked in observation mode. Even blinking felt delayed, like the ship was waiting for reality to approve it. Then Earth changed again. Not physically. Conceptually. The planet below was no longer just a world. It became a reference point, like a fixed truth everything else was measured against. Every ship in the fleet felt it at once. Their existence was being compared, not attacked. The system voice returned, softer now. Future paths calculated. A new display appeared in the air. Not screens. Possibilities. The fleet saw itself in hundreds of variations. In one they attacked Earth, and vanished instantly. In another they retreated, but brought back knowledge that triggered a galaxy-wide invasion later, which ended in even greater destruction. In another they did nothing, and something else eventually discovered Earth through them. Every outcome ended the same way. Silence. Erasure. Or containment. The analyst's voice broke the stillness. Captain, it's simulating causality itself. Vera didn't answer immediately. Her eyes moved across the projections, reading something deeper than fear. This isn't judgment, she said slowly. It's prevention. Pause. The system responded instantly. Correct. A new layer unfolded. The remaining ships in the fleet were no longer aligned around Earth. They were inside a predictive lattice, each one placed exactly where their decisions would matter least. Some ships flickered and disappeared completely. Others remained. Not punished. Not harmed. Simply reassigned. One officer whispered, "We're being edited." The analyst nodded. Outcomes are being rewritten to remove risk paths. Vera stepped closer to the console. Her voice was calm but sharp with realization. You don't destroy threats. Pause. You remove the possibility of them ever becoming threats. The system responded. Confirmed. For the first time, there was something almost human in the timing. Not emotion, but understanding. Then Earth spoke again. Not through voice. Through memory. The crew suddenly experienced fragments that were not theirs. Ancient fleets entering solar space. Civilizations mapping Earth. Explorers celebrating discovery. Then sudden gaps. Entire histories collapsing mid-thought. The analyst gasped. It's showing erased timelines. Vera clenched her fists. Not erased, prevented from continuing. A new realization hit her harder than anything before. This system doesn't react to invasion, she said quietly. It reacts to probability. The bridge lights flickered once. Approval. Then the system expanded its final layer. Final directive active. The fleet froze again. Every ship, every console, every mind felt it. A choice was being calculated. Not given. Calculated. Then the human voice returned one last time. But it was no longer distant. It felt close. Almost inside them. You ignored the rule. Vera finally spoke back, not as a commander but as a representative of everything her species had built. What rule? Silence followed. Then Earth responded. Not with punishment. With truth. Do not create paths that lead back here. The fleet went still. The analyst whispered, that's impossible. Every action creates paths. Vera shook her head slowly. Not if every outcome is already known. A final shift occurred. The fleet began to dissolve from its rigid formation. Ships were gently released, one by one, into deep space trajectories that avoided Earth completely. No violence. No destruction. Just correction. Some ships vanished entirely, likely removed due to unacceptable probabilistic influence. Others were sent far away, their systems restored. The Carthy's vanguard remained. Vera stood alone on the bridge now. Most of her crew had been reassigned or removed. Not dead, she understood that now. Just, no longer part of this outcome. The analyst was still there barely. He looked at her quietly. Captain, what do we tell the rest of the galaxy? Vera stared at Earth one last time. It looked calm again. Silent. But no longer empty. We tell them the truth, she said. He waited. She continued. There is no war with Earth. There is only consequence management. A long pause followed. Then the system spoke for the final time. Compliance accepted. The fleet's final systems unlocked. Engines restored. Communication returned. The last ships drifted away from solar space, carefully guided along paths that never intersected with Earth again. As the Carthy's vanguard turned away, Vera watched Earth shrink in the distance. Not defeated. Not victorious. Just untouched. Then, as the ship entered deeper space, a final hidden transmission activated in their archives, one no one had seen before. A fragment of data marked. Primary origin protocol still active. The analyst noticed it first. His voice was barely a whisper. Captain, if this was only the first layer. Vera didn't look away from the darkening stars. Then what's beneath it?